We are back for another episode, and this one is actually a bit of a continuation or a part two, actually to, what episode number would that have been? 5, possibly? It's, was the one from March 1st, I do know that.
Yes.
Because it was the one where it was just the two of us again.
Yeah.
And we had talked about a bit of, actually only a very little bit of your story.
Very tiny bit.
Very tiny bit. And which was also about Rare Disease Awareness Day and that. So this is sort of a part 2 to that. And so first of all, our podcast is called Wait, What? And the reason for that is because we are taking common beliefs, sayings, actions, whatever, just things that are just very common, deconstructing them, having conversations about them, sharing our opinions, our experiences about those and how they've affected us. And so really what our whole goal is with this podcast is to hopefully start and extend conversations. Mm-hmm. And so today it is just Erika and I here because it is the continuation. So on March 1st we put out the episode, which was just a very small piece of your story. Living with an invisible illness, living with a rare disease, chronic pain, like all of that. And what we wanted to do is we highlighted just sort of some really important parts for you that, like, of what you've dealt with for yourself, with others, doctors, like all that.
Sort of what it's like in our society as a person with these kinds of health issues. Yeah.
And so we wanted to do a part 2 to do from the parent side. Because obviously it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yet a lot of stress as well. And so I guess just to give a little bit of a background for me. So for myself, I've lived my whole life with invisible illnesses and chronic pain and stuff as well. Which, like, that wasn't even a thing. Like, wasn't even a thing. As far back as I could remember, I had migraines. I was diagnosed with migraines. I don't think until I was, like, in my teens, actually. They diagnosed me once when I was young. Actually, I was probably about 8. Actually, I remember, because I figure skated a lot. And at that point, they figured out it was chocolate that set it off. Something in my body doesn't break down. Yes, it's very sad. And so I could control that. However, it wasn't the only thing. So I remember at that point, so I was really young, actually, when I was first diagnosed originally with migraines.
Yeah.
And then I started having stomach problems as well, which today we know that is celiac. And who knew back then? There was no such thing. Yeah. I went through all these different things. I can't eat spicy food. I can't eat meat. I can't eat, like, it was always like, I think I'm allergic to this. I'm allergic to that. And who knew? But I just remember it was a rare day to not have a migraine and be, like, doubled over in pain from, like, my stomach and stuff. Like, to not be dealing with both of those, at least. Plus, I had major issues with my hips. My body, my hips wouldn't stay in place. No one's ever figured it out. I could be walking across a room and I would just collapse. And one of my hips would be out. And no one ever knew what happened, why it did, anyways. And that was like, it was daily, like, pain to the point of, like, I was very medicated. And then when you add, which would have, again, endometriosis to it, which again, we didn't know. I wasn't diagnosed for almost 30 years. But it was endometriosis, which they didn't know. I had a doctor, actually, when I was 16 years old, and I remember my mom was with me at a doctor, and the doctor looked at me and said, well, you can either go on the pill or you can get pregnant. And I went,
goodness.
Wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. So, like, I've understood, yet I didn't understand. Like, I knew nothing. Like, that was just normal life to me. I was in pain. Like, the only time I probably wasn't in conscious pain was when I was asleep. And even then I woke up a lot and I did not sleep well. Yeah. And I remember one of the things with you, and then, you know, Kaylee has dealt with a lot of pain and stuff as well. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying to you guys one time, or at least thinking it, going like, you know, like, I've dealt with pain my entire life to, like, crazy degrees.
Yeah.
And I said the only thing worse than that is having kids that deal with that. Like, I could deal with that. I mean, I've had pain so bad I pass out. Mm-hmm. And I have a really high pain tolerance.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only thing worse than that is your kids dealing with stuff that you can't fix.
Yeah.
And you can't help. And I remember so many nights, you know, like, walking out of your room and just bawling, like, knowing that you were in so much pain and there's, like, literally nothing that can be done.
Yeah.
And what do I do? Like, so, you know, I mean, obviously as parents, we don't want our kids to suffer. We don't want to see anyone suffer, generally, as humans, hopefully.
I hope we don't.
Yeah. Hopefully. You know, but we don't want to see our kids suffer, and that's hard. And so we want to fix, and we want to heal, and we want to help, and we want to do anything possible to make it go away. And it's not a bad thing. But we can feel really helpless with that. And it can be really hard. And when, you know, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, but I know I've talked about it before with different people, and, you know, mom guilt is so huge. And it's something I would like to talk about more, because it is a reality. It is a very stark reality, mom guilt. And I know that's something that, why, like, I searched, I looked up everything. I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours reading and researching, and, you know, I mean, thank goodness we had internet by the time.
Yeah. True.
By then. But, you know, it was sort of a joke, kind of, yet it was very true that I would just go into, like, my research mode.
Yeah.
And I remember I'd be up, like, all night reading, and I'd be up on, like, I'm still part of, like, forums all around the world.
Yeah.
Like, and I'd be chatting with people, like, doctors and specialists, and, you know, all these, like, just other parents and people dealing with the diseases and everything, like, all around the world. That was actually how we came to help Kaylee with her scoliosis.
Yeah.
That was what helped us, was because I was talking with people in Germany, actually, and found out about the Schroth method there. And for you, I still have friends. We've never met, but friends over in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, who we chat with, and anyone over in the UK, if you deal with uveitis or anything, look up Olivia's Vision. Amazing organization. Mom, Olivia's the daughter, and look them up, because if you need help with anything to do with uveitis, look them up. She's amazing. They're both amazing and can really help. But so for me, I'll just go into like one of my pet peeves.
Okay.
There's a pet peeve.
I know what you're gonna say.
that I have as a parent,
Okay.
and trying to help my kids, was I can't tell you the number of times that I have been like ridiculed and like put down, and I don't even know another way of saying it, like even harsher than that.
Yeah.
I don't know what another way of saying it is, like just talked down to, but like even harsher, like told I was stupid,
Minimized.
Yeah, because I had researched.
Yeah.
I don't know how many names I've been called of like, oh, you're one of those. Like, oh, you're one of those that have done your own research. Like, you're not a doctor. I can't even tell you the number of times people are like, oh, are you a doctor? And, okay. I'm just going to say it because it's our podcast, so.
Okay.
I'm just going to say it. The reality is, no, I'm not a doctor. However, I will say I have done more research than most of the specialists that we saw for uveitis, for most of the specialists we saw for scoliosis, for most of the specialists we saw for chronic pain, for migraines, for like all those things, because I literally spent hundreds and hundreds of hours researching. I read medical journals from all over the world. I didn't just read the medical journals that came on my desk, that came on my computer, whatever. I didn't sit in a class and take, no, I didn't take like 8 years, 10 years in medical school where you got, like, I don't know how long they learn about uveitis. I do know that the majority, the very high majority of ophthalmologists have no clue what it is.
Yeah.
And don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you the majority of people, when they found out about scoliosis, have no idea what to do. I can tell you the majority of people that just, I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
And people will have said to me so many times, and still make comments, and go, well, yeah, but they're a doctor. And I'm like, yeah. And they have like hundreds of patients. And do you think they're actually going and doing even an hour of research for each patient?
Yeah.
Not even close.
They can't.
They can't. They just, yeah, they physically can't.
Yeah.
So they go by what they know. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, we've had some amazing specialists.
Yeah.
Truly. Like, we have, and it's also taken a lot to find them. Yes. I will say, this is not like, oh, wow, we got this amazing specialist and here we go. Like, no.
Yeah, no.
We've gone through a few. Okay, a lot.
Yeah. Like, pretty bad ones, too.
Yes. Some that have definitely caused trauma to both of us over the years.
Yeah.
And generally, those are the ones that told me I was stupid and that I had no place doing what I was doing. The first one I ever encountered was for you.
Was the
very first specialist that we saw for you.
He was.
And that was when I had been reading, and I was in talks all around the world, on forums all over the world. Mm-hmm. I was in touch with the other great place for uveitis is Dr. Foster.
Yeah.
And the uveitis hospital clinic down in Boston. Mm-hmm. And I chatted with him
Wow.
I chatted with like other specialists there, with other people around the world, and I got research and I printed it all out.
Yeah.
I took it into the specialist. Here's me with 5 kids. Because Erika you were 8 when you were diagnosed.
That's crazy. Yeah.
The twins were born a few months after.
Yeah.
And we were seeing this specialist, and I would have 5 kids, like 2 babies. Jillian was 2, Kaylee had been 5, you were 8, and then, 9, 6, whatever.
Yeah.
Had to go to the appointments.
Yeah.
And I bring in this research that I had done that it was solid.
From doctors and specialists.
Yes.
Yes.
So, just a quick rundown. With uveitis, often they treat it. They'll start treating it with prednisone, which is a steroid eye drops.
Yeah.
And because it'll take the inflammation down really quickly.
Yeah, it's the fastest way to do it, generally.
Yes. And so we were doing drops every hour.
Yep.
So my watch, oh my goodness, like...
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Every hour during the day.
Yeah.
Special salve stuff at night. You couldn't even see
So
through
bad.
it. But every hour, and then we sometimes get to every 2 hours and whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, so I was doing this research, talking with doctors, talking with like specialists, everything all over. And they, like, it's proven over and over again, it's proven.
Well, and all my specialists say this now too. Like
Yes.
the amazing specialists we've found now agree with this.
Yes. That it's only a matter of time that the drops will cause cataracts and or glaucoma.
Yeah.
It's a fact. It's proven. It's the way it is. So
Yeah.
I printed out this material. I brought it in the specialist. I was like, okay, I just have a question. I'm wondering about the eye drops and if there's another solution that you have with this, because here's where, like, I've been researching and reading, and he wouldn't even look at it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even look at it. And he said, it doesn't matter. We have a surgeon in the office that can do the surgery anyways. And I was in absolute shock. And I looked at him, and because I was trying to read him to see if he was actually serious, because I couldn't believe someone would be, like, actually serious. Like, not even look at something and tell me that kind of stuff about an 8-year-old child. Go, oh, it doesn't even matter because we have a surgeon. And I remember just kind of going like, okay, thank you. I packed up all the kids. I went to the front desk and I said, I need a copy of Erika's whole file, please. And so she photocopied everything for me. I took all the stack of sheets that we had at that point already. Now you have like a huge, huge file. And I walked out and I was like, we're never going back there.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what to do. And I'll tell you, like, that was one of the scariest moments. Next to, the next one that comes to mind is showing up at the office and your eyes, like, black. You can't read a thing because you're, like, blind in one eye. Oh, my goodness.
Still so funny.
I don't even know how you weren't, like, totally freaking out. Like, I constantly think of that. And I'm like, I would have been absolutely losing it.
I was.
You didn't even tell me. And then I think it was on the episode that we did that you said that it was actually a few days.
It was like 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
It was so long.
You said it was like that. Oh, I just woke up this morning.
Well, yeah, because how could I tell you and our specialist that I had left my black eye for 2 weeks? You would have been so much more angry.
Yeah.
You both were already so angry.
Oh my goodness, getting blindsided. Blindsided. Ah, pun not
So
intended
funny.
actually, but oh my goodness. So okay, I get off on trails, but going back to my pet peeve is that
Yes.
whole, it's not even a pet peeve. It actually really angers me now.
Yeah.
Because it just is so belittling
Mhm.
that out to like that I'm so stupid that I can't read a medical journal. Like,
Mhm.
I learned to read them. Like, we have Google. I can look up definitions. I can message doctors. I have contacts all around the world. I have people all over the world, like doctors, specialists, parents, like everything that I've talked to.
Mhm.
You know, like this wasn't just some, why not, let's try this, like crazy thing. Like this, I research and I can do that. And that's something that, one of the things that I just think is so minimized for parents, going through this kind of stuff. Which also takes me into the other thing that is so minimized is our gut instincts as parents.
Yeah.
That, I don't even know how you can get a class on it in medical school, and maybe it's a whole emotional intelligence class. Maybe that's what is actually needed there. But to trust a parent.
Yeah.
When they say that there's, I can't even, like, I don't think I've even met one parent yet who has a child that they've dealt with some sort of major problem, at least, if not even less than that, like just even something that you might consider small. But definitely, I cannot even think of a parent that I've spoken to that does not deal with some sort of disease, chronic illness, invisible illness, pain, like whatever, that was not believed.
Yeah.
When they went to a doctor and said, something is wrong, something's not right, and I can't even tell you the number of doctors in our life who was just like, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
I was told that my whole life.
Yeah.
We were told that for you guys.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've gotten a little edgy with it now.
Yeah.
And I don't put up with it at all anymore. I was just a lot. I'm still nice about it. We were still nice.
Yeah.
Like that last one.
We
were pretty nice. Yeah, the rheumatologist.
We were very nice to that lady.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say lady, but whatever. She was awful, so she deserves to be called out.
Well, okay, and then that's another whole thing. Like, you talk about, like, trauma and stuff, and that is very real.
Yeah.
That is real trauma, PTSD in kids, PTSD for parents going through this kind of stuff, and, like, there's just not supports for that. Like, because you're so having to deal with what's in front of you and what's going on, and now we're really seeing that.
Yeah.
We're seeing the effects of the PTSD and the trauma for all those years now that is now really kind of coming to a head, coming to the forefront now, and we're needing to deal with it.
Yeah, that'll be something I think that'll be interesting to talk about in future episodes, and I think something I want to work on in our world is like joining mental health with this. And that's not blaming symptoms on mental health, because that's what doctors did.
Right.
Blaming, like, but actual, like, this causes mental health issues in parents and children. Like, you need support for that.
Well, I don't know how many times I would get, well, you have 5 kids, like, like,
that is,
like, when you were diagnosed, I was, 6 months pregnant, 5 months pregnant with the twins or something like that.
Yeah.
We had bought a house. We were renovating the house. We were still managing an apartment building. We were going back and forth constantly. We had major family issues.
Yep.
And, like, huge amount of stress. And it was, like...
Yeah.
But when it just gets lessened to that, because then it's like, I don't know, it's hard to describe until you're in it, until you have someone just look at you like and go, well, you have 5 kids, like, really? And I just want to scream. Yeah. And I just want to be like, no, you need to listen to me. And
yeah.
You know, like, I am so thankful, honestly, like, for those forums around the world. And I was literally up, like, day and night on them, because I was on forums, like, with people around the world. So, like, when it was my nighttime, it was their daytime. So that was the only time I could talk to some of them. And so, like, and every one of them has the stories of that, like, people don't believe them. Yeah. That they're told that they're fine. Fine, honestly, is a 4-letter word. Probably the worst 4-letter word you could ever say to me. Worse than any other 4-letter word that you could even think of. Honestly. Fine, tell me I'm fine. And just makes me want to throat punch someone.
Fair.
I'll just go there because, like, honestly, that just... No, don't tell me I'm fine when I'm no. Okay. So, anyways, or when my child isn't fine, then the real mama bear comes out. Like, and you know what? I mean, it's easier. I found it easier. It's easier to fight for my kids than it was for me.
Makes sense.
So, I could, like, I had some pretty hot conversations.
Hot discussions.
Hot, like, very, you know,
I agree.
Over time. Like, and I think that's probably the worst thing, is just, like, that not being believed. Yeah. And then the other side of it, like, okay, then, you know, you're dealing with this. First of all, you have all this stress with your child or your kids. So for us, like, you were the oldest. Kaylee was also having, that was the same time that she was diagnosed with scoliosis, going into a brace, dealing with all of that. And then we have 3 more kids.
Yeah.
Who are little, like 2 and babies.
Yeah.
Like, so there's all of that. So not only do we have all of that we're dealing with, and we're dealing with that with the specialists and stuff, and then there's, like, these outside people who, to me, you would think, like, should have our back, should believe, and yet I'm still having to, like, fight with other people. With people who I was like, I shouldn't have to fight with. Who I just thought would just believe me. And just, you know, like...
Yeah.
And that was really hard. Like, having to constantly prove how sick I am or how sick my kids are, trying to, like, I don't know, like, honestly, if anyone can relate to this, I feel for you. I truly do. It is something that I honestly never wish anyone to have to go through.
Yep.
Like, it's, like, when someone tells me something, I honestly, the first thing I have just, like, trained myself even to do, but, like, that I just do is, like, I am so sorry for what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
I feel for you. Like, and just, if I can even just give any kind of advice or anything, is just, like, stay out of judgment.
Yeah.
Like, why would you judge someone anyways? Especially, like, when someone's hurting. When someone is a child that's hurting.
And really, like, why not believe them? Like, that is one of the biggest things I will never understand, is how people can just not believe.
Yeah.
Other people's struggle.
Yeah.
Like, baffles me. I do not understand.
I know. It just, I don't either. Like, just have empathy. Just, even if you don't need to understand. And I mean, that was probably one of the best lines, and I think we put it as a clip. I used it as a clip in our social media stuff. Was like, you know, you said, like, I don't need you to understand.
Yeah.
And that's true. Like I even feel that too as a parent. I don't need you to understand everything. You can't understand.
No.
Like,
You can't.
I cannot understand what you have been through. Like, yes, I've dealt with all my own stuff.
Yeah.
I still can't understand what you're dealing with, though, because we're
Yeah.
not the exact same person in the same time,
Yeah.
in the exact same situation. I can't understand you. You can't understand me. I can't understand anyone else but me.
Mm-hmm.
But we can actually believe other people.
Yeah.
We can empathize with other people.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, honestly, like, I think, like, if that was the only thing that people changed, like, what an easier road, honestly, that we would have had. And I think that so many people would have.
Yeah.
Like, we already have such a battle that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
But then to battle with people who you think, who should believe you and should have your back, and to have to battle with those people as well, it's like, I don't have time for that. And then when you know, you cut people off and you don't spend time with certain people and whatever, and then they're hurt and they don't understand why, and it's like, I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
Like, I only have so much energy.
Yeah.
You only have so much energy. And especially when your body is in a battle for health, you only have so much energy.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to be for people that you're constantly fighting to prove who you are.
Yeah.
And I no longer apologize for that. It's
That's
something
cool.
that I've had to learn.
Yeah.
Because I love connection.
Yeah.
I need connection. And I realize where that got me in trouble. And where it did not serve me well. It was not beneficial.
Yeah.
When when I would just try and prove to people that I was telling the truth and that it was real, and like, oh my goodness, the amount of energy expended for that.
Yeah.
When there are so many people out there that will just accept before they actually understand. Like, that is possible, actually.
Yeah.
We could just accept and then seek to understand or try to understand, but even if you never will, that's okay. But just accept where someone's at. And okay, so, but yeah, like, that's a big thing for me, is just believing and accepting, and you know, and that's something that we've had to speak up for over the years. But I know, especially, like, going back to, like, the whole gut instinct and stuff, that has been one that I've pushed. I've had to force our way into appointments and stuff, and you know, if I have to encourage anyone with that too, is go with your gut 100% of the time. Go with your gut. Like, don't let anyone talk you down. Don't let anyone tell you that you're overreacting, you're too much. If you need someone to be on your side, message me. I'll be on your side. I will. Like, I'll stand for you, with you, whatever you need, because I get it. And, you know, with that too, though, like, I do want to acknowledge the number of amazing specialists that we've had over the years too. There's been some really tough ones, you know, really frustrating, really damaging, hurtful, I don't know what other words you can think of.
Harsher than hurtful, but like, awful experiences.
However, we've had some really amazing ones.
Ones that, like, are just, like, special people, and they genuinely care. You know? Which, like, I remember not having that and not even being able to imagine that, like, a specialist could, you know?
Yeah.
But having that is, like...
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I remember you and Kaylee one time joking and saying, like, I think we were talking about, like, party or probably one of our parties or something.
Okay.
And we were joking and saying, like, oh yeah, like when the majority of your friends are your specialists and stuff. It's like, yeah, because we kind of know them all by first name and cell phone numbers and like, hey, how's it going? And we check in on each other and you know, and it's pretty amazing. But yeah, like we have been very blessed with some amazing ones too over the years, and also some very amazing friends and family as well outside of, you know, like there's always two sides to it. So, you know, we've had some very amazing other sides to that, which is needed, is really needed. Like, and that's something else too that I would guess I would encourage is don't settle. Like, don't settle for those.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah. Like,
it's not worth it.
You know what? It's really, like, what do you need for you? What do you need for your family? And go with it. And, yeah, because I do know, like, there were, like, looking back now, and this is kind of where I want to go into for the end part of this, is what we would do differently. Because that is one thing that I would have done differently. Looking back, I would have cut some relationships earlier. I would have made some decisions differently earlier than I did. Because part of, you know, with me, it's like I just try and be nice and I try and include everyone and I'm so loyal and I'm, you know, however that didn't, like, I guess the question I like is, how is it serving me? Yeah. You know, like, is that relationship serving me and my family right now? And when it's not any longer, then it's time to let it go.
Yeah. I agree.
You know, and that is not a selfish thing, because that, honestly, it comes to my mind.
Yep. I know, that's what I was thinking.
And it's not. And I was told that, too. And it's not a selfish thing. Like, it is literally what you need to do. What do you need? What does your family need? And that's who you have to take care of.
Yeah.
And, so, okay, so going into some things that we would change. Okay. So, and this has really come up, like, over, especially the last year with the emotional intelligence work that I'm doing, was really where it came up, because I remember having, like, conversations and talking about things, and I'm like, okay, having conversations, but, like, when you need to take a medication or you will go blind, I'm like, how do you have a conversation about that? Because it's like, you just have to take it.
Yeah.
But now, there's definitely a different way I would do it. I'm glad you can actually laugh about this, because honestly, this is like, it's like embarrassing. Seriously.
That's
like,
so funny.
Oh my goodness. I know you say it's hilarious. But honestly, it was like, I was just at my end. I had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
I was so scared that I was like, it's either these pills or you're going to go blind.
Well, because I wouldn't take the medication. Like,
so you were 9 years old. I think you were 9 when you had to start taking the methotrexate.
Yeah.
And it was 7 pills or 9 pills twice a day.
It was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
It was somewhere. It was
so
a
many.
lot. Like, they were tiny, tiny pills. But still, when you're 9 years old, like, how many 9-year-olds swallow pills? Like, none.
Yeah, I did not know how to swallow at all.
No. And then all of a sudden, you're having to swallow pills. Because there was no, like, you couldn't get it in a liquid form. Like, it was pills or needle. and that's it. And they don't like doing the needle first.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do the pills because it's just, they're not as, what is it, like as potent, or I don't know the right terminology for that, but like we ended up having to go to needles.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. we just started with pills.
Yes.
So 9 years old and you're having to take pills. Like what?
Yes.
So tell me where you were at. Because I don't think we've ever even talked about this, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We laugh about it because of how I dealt with this. We'll get to that.
That's so funny.
So what were you thinking? Like, what do you remember?
I was terrified. Like, I think that's something that I don't even know. I didn't recognize over the years the, like, serious anxiety that I have had since little. Just in general, but, like, specifically around doctors and, like, anything to do with health. Because, I mean, like, literally the first doctor appointment that we went to where I was diagnosed with uveitis, I made myself throw up so that we wouldn't have to go. We still had to go. So that didn't really do anything.
Right.
Because you made me bring like an empty cottage cheese like container or something. I will forever remember this.
Oh my goodness. That's so funny.
Because you knew what was going on. So you were like, we have to go. And you get to bring this.
Oh my goodness sakes.
Anyway,
that wasn't traumatizing at
I
all.
like that picture. My memory forever. And it's so vivid.
Oh goodness.
Anyway, yeah, so for like the pills, yeah, I was so scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I was literally just, I was just like, you have to take them. We have to get them in you.
Yeah.
Like it's not an option because I mean it wasn't like you would go blind.
Yes.
If something didn't happen.
Yeah.
So we would like, you couldn't swallow, so we would like, we tried like, everything. We put them in, well, and this is after, because like you had a lot of ear infections when you were little, and so you were on medication, sort of off and on and stuff. All the time.
Medication.
Still to this day hate bananas because of it.
Yeah.
Actually, thank you,
Awful.
medication. Anyways.
Gross.
But with the pills, like it was the only option. And
Yeah.
so, like we tried everything.
Yeah.
We put them in literally everything. Like you could probably name anything and we tried it. Literally everything.
Yeah.
We bought so many different kinds of like jellos and puddings and applesauce and like, I don't even know what all.
The one though, I don't know if you remember this, that is so awful that I won't again remember ever, is you told me to put it in pineapple juice.
What?
It was so gross. Because like 8 pills being dissolved in pineapple juice.
Oh wait, I don't think would we have done 8? I'll take, oh my.
Yes! No, but like you weren't there. Like you just told me to do it, and so I did.
Oh my
and
goodness.
it was so bad. I didn't drink it all.
Yeah.
Because it was disgusting.
Oh goodness. So like we would get to a point too where I would just be like, you have to take this. You have to take it.
Yeah.
Swallow it down, swallow now, right? Like because I was like, okay, maybe if I like get you focused on something else and I'll psych you out and then you can just like swallow.
It's not how my brain works.
Oh, so here though is like a perfect example of like what I would have done differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I would have actually had a conversation with you. Like I never even knew how terrified you were. I was just like, we have to get this. We have to take this. We have to do this. And yes, we did. However, like, I mean, we don't know now and we won't ever know, but maybe for someone else, they could try this and let me know. Someone else. You don't need to terrorize your child. Although thankfully, so you can laugh about it.
It's so funny.
Maybe someday it'll come out as like, oh my goodness, that was like the worst trauma of my entire life.
I think there are other way more traumatizing things that have happened, but
True.
you know.
Unfortunately true, yes.
Yeah.
But so what I would do now though is have a conversation with you and say like,
yeah,
what are you feeling? What's going on for you?
Yeah.
And when you say, like, if you were saying, like, I'm really scared, and then we could have talked, like, what are you scared about? What's scary about this? And and then just like, okay, well, we have to take this. Like, you need to take this, not the we. It's a royal we, a royal we.
Yeah.
You have to take this.
Yes.
So what are we gonna do to help you take this? What would you like to try? What do you want to do? And at that point, like, you might have just said, like, I just need everyone to go away and leave me be.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know? Who knows? But, like, at least we could have had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And not traumatize, well, all of us. I think all your siblings are traumatized too.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, you were actually better at taking the needles than you were the pills.
I was so excited to do the needles.
Oh.
So excited.
I was not.
I know.
Because I still remember when Uncle Richard became diabetic.
Yeah.
So my younger brother, when he became diabetic, I think he was about 13. I think I was about 15.
Okay.
And while they did not expect him to make it, he was like absolute miracle. The doctors said that all the way through. Unbelievable miracle that he actually made it. But we had to go through like training to give needles. Not a chance. I'm like, no. I think I did a needle into an orange. I think they finally convinced me to do that because they wanted me to make sure I knew how to do it in case I needed to help him. And that's the only reason I even did it, was because like if it could save his life one day, I was like, if I can do it in an orange, I'll tell you, when I'm on adrenaline, I'll do it anyway. I could do it on a person. I don't care. Like, I would do it. If it was going to save his life, I could do it. But I refused to do it on anyone. And I remember always thinking, like, my mom and dad had to do the needles on him a lot of times because, I mean, you have to, like, 3 times a day or whatever it was. And so there were times where he had to have it the back of his arm and the back of his legs, I think, and whatever, that he couldn't necessarily do it. So, and I remember, like, when we found out you had to go to needles, oh my goodness, I remember phoning Mama and just going like, oh my goodness, how did you do this? How did you do this? Oh. And I was like, I never pictured this, that I was going to have to, because I hate needles to this day. That was a trauma for me, I'll tell you. I was very traumatized by needles when I was a kid. There's still one story. Yeah. Like, there was one time I was like, I was sick a lot as a kid. Yeah. Had all sorts of problems and health issues and challenges. And so, like, and then accidents. Oh my goodness. And had a lot of needles. And I can picture the hospital that we were in. Okay. There was like doors and it goes in and I can see like the room. And for whatever reason, I was so freaked out. There's literally nurses chasing me around the hospital to catch me.
So awful.
And they had to hold me down to give me a needle. Yeah.
So wrong. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I just had to pass the trauma on, I guess. Not with needles, with pills.
Okay. I was excited about the needles.
I know you were excited about the needles. I was traumatized having to. Do you remember me giving you?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I would be like, just do it.
And now we're back to that again.
Yeah, literally. Came full circle.
Oh, I was like, these are like the self-injection needles. Anyways, so yeah, so for you, what is something that you would have liked to see changed or done differently or tried even differently? Because I mean, obviously we're not going to know now like what would have been, but like for you, what's something maybe not even necessarily to do with like medications, but just, maybe to do, I don't even know, with people or specialists or appointments or anything. Like what for you would have maybe helped or...
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of things that come to mind. The first thing that kind of has like two sides to it, where I think, like, because I was so young, I mean, a lot of kids are born with stuff too, so like, I was old compared to that, but I was fairly young. I think it would have been beneficial if the focus for everyone wasn't just a cure. Which I think we could do a whole podcast on, and I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so many sides to it.
Yes.
Where, like you were just talking, you, as a parent, feel like the need to do that.
Yeah.
Which I get. Our world is very ableist, and we don't like people being different and not being able to do everything everyone else is able to do. And so there's a huge focus on that. And I think, especially from young, it would have been helpful to not.
Interesting.
Because then there was a pressure on me, too, to, like...
Yeah.
But a big part of that came from the church, where it was... Which,
the
like, again,
and,
another podcast about the church's
definitely.
involvement in health issues. Because they bring in, well, you must not have a good faith with God. You must not be praying enough. You, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other side to that, too, is I wish there was more, how do I say this? More stuff to prepare me and our family for the future.
Yes, definitely.
Because it was always, well, you're just gonna get better and then you'll live a normal life. And so when that doesn't happen, it's shocking.
Yes. Yeah.
It was shocking.
Definitely. So, and we're sort of in the middle of dealing with that right now, actually. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because, like, no idea.
No idea.
How to do that, and all of a sudden you're an adult, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And what now do I do?
Yeah, because, like...
And how do we help you? How do we, how do we go forward? What do we do?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we definitely will need to do some podcasts on those. I know we've talked about them and and we'll definitely do that at a time, but, this one I just wanted to, hopefully, I don't know, I think I went off on a whole bunch of tangents, so hopefully there was some useful stuff in here.
There was. But what do you want parents to know? Like, as a parent, dealing with kids with health stuff.
I think the biggest thing is go with your gut.
Yeah.
Listen to your gut 100% of the time. Don't let anyone, I don't care how many years of doctorate, whatever they have, you know yourself, you know your child, period. You know your child the best.
Yeah.
Trust that every single time. If you don't get answers where you're at, go find someone else to talk to. Go find someone else. Go search it up. Find someone who will listen to you and you can have a conversation with at least. Because for me, it wasn't about me going and having to, like, no, this is what it is and this is what we're going to do. Like, I wanted to show what I had found, and let's have a conversation as to what we can do.
Yeah.
And we do have specialists like that now, because we've
Yeah.
thrown all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
If you need specialists for uveitis and stuff, just get a hold of us, because like we can give you some amazing ones. Scoliosis, same thing.
Yeah.
But like, just have conversations. Like, show me enough
Yeah.
respect that we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
And that. And so, like, I definitely would like that. And then, you know what? Like, find and do what you need.
Yeah.
Because I had at different times a lot of people saying, oh, you just need to find a support group. You need to find this. And honestly, at that point, like when we were dealing with it for you guys, I was like, how? I have 5 kids.
Yeah.
2 babies. When they were born, they were in hospital for like 2 weeks. Like, I couldn't think of anything else
No.
at all. Like, I didn't need a support group right then. I needed, you know, someone who would say, come into our house so I could just take a shower.
Yeah.
Like, that was, I still remember that was one of the best nights ever. Like, someone, you know, someone came over and just like, okay, go have a shower. And I was like, okay, wow, that's amazing.
Huh.
And, you know, like, or bring a meal. But ask the person.
Yes.
Like, don't just go, like,
Yeah,
just because I'm
definitely.
saying this.
Oh my goodness, please
Because
don't.
I'm saying this, don't just, like, go do this for someone. Just like, oh, I'm coming over and you're going to have a shower. Like,
Oh my goodness.
that might be really freaky for them. But, like,
Yeah.
if you're wanting to help someone else, just ask them, like, hey, what do you need? You know? And if they don't give you an answer right then, that's okay. Just say, hey, like, that's all good. Like, if there's something, but check back in. Don't be offended if they don't get back to you, because it's a lot. Like, when you're dealing with, especially like a new diagnosis, and, you know, like, and I know, like, everything is so different for everyone and what they're dealing with and what they're going through, and everyone has different needs and what, and, you know, some kids might need, the other kids in the family might absolutely love to get out of the house and stuff for a while, but some might not want to.
Yeah.
So just be there for whatever that family needs.
Yeah.
And offer that. And just find out, what did they need? And then I think the other thing for both sides is just accept first. Accept, then try and understand, but just accept. Just show empathy. Give grace. Give, you know, that's the best, honestly, help that anyone, like, the ones that truly helped us the most, like, that's what it was. It was just asking, like, hey, what do you need? And then just, and doing that, like, just believing us.
Yep.
And that. You have anything else?
I don't know. I think that's good. I think the only thing I was thinking about, which it goes along with the thing you said right before that, is I don't think people recognize the impact that, like, a child with health issues has on the entire family and, like, the parents.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I mean, in our family, like, I didn't even get, like, mental health help either, let alone you guys. And it's like,
that actually should be standard.
It should.
Honestly.
Yes.
That should be standard. With any time a child is diagnosed with something and whatever, that really should be standard. There should be a mental health person that follows that child and that family.
Well, yeah, like, I don't know how you wouldn't end up with mental health things after dealing with health issues. But yeah, like, I think just to recognize the impact that that has on the parents and, like, the other siblings.
Definitely.
But.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
we have some work to do going forward. Mental health stuff. That's gonna be some more topics, though. But that's a huge piece that, like, we didn't even recognize, and a lot of it is because we're just so into dealing with what we have to deal with on the day-to-day basis.
Well, yeah, it's
so
not...
physically and whatever that gets left, and that's really such an important part.
Yeah.
So,
it is.
but that'll have to be another time.
Yeah.
So, Anyways, we're going to sign off for today, and you can find us on all podcast platforms, on all social media, Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter,
TikTok. Yeah, I think so. So
at the official WWP.
Right, the official WWP.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week, though. I know we had a week break, but we'll be back next week with another topic. So
yep,
there we go.
Okay.